if there was one subject in school that I was really good at when I was young, but that I eventually kind of fell off when I got older and older because of laziness, because of bad mental health, but eventually, as I got back on it and I got back on track and I fixed my life, I finally became good at it once again. It has to be, and it is 100% certain, math. I remember that when I was a little kid, when I was like 6 to 7 years old, in grade 1 and grade 2, I remember that I was flawless at math. Like, of course, it was really easy back then. All you had to do was just the plus and minuses. And eventually, when we got into grade 3, of course, multiplication arrived. And we had this really teacher, we had this really strict teacher that liked to pick on me all the time. If it was because of jealousy or if it was just because that was just her nature, I don't care. She was really mean to me, and yeah, she bullied me for like 2 years straight, which really showed me a lot of results. And it got me into becoming an A to B student, like basically being in between that. Sometimes getting A's from an exam, sometimes getting B in exams, but rarely getting any C's whatsoever. I was not getting them that oftenly. But when I got that new teacher, oh boy, everything changed for me. And the negative feedback loops started happening. The negative feedback loop is caused by this. Basically, you have this source of negative energy. Negative energy is the invisible force in this world that makes you feel negative emotions. I don't want to go all wishy-washy on you and like I don't want to make make me seem like I'm some kind of a lunatic, but it does make sense. There are invisible forces in this world that we cannot see with our eyes, but we can feel them. You can feel gravity, right? But you cannot see it. And that's the same way when it comes to emotions and positive and negative energy. So, when you have this source of an event that brings you a lot of negative energy, whether it is trauma, like the teacher constantly picking on you in front of the entire class, literally shouting all of your smallest mistakes that you can think about. Like, for example, instead of writing C, you write K, and now she shouts it in front of the entire class to hear. Of course, that's gonna have a lot of subconscious effects, not just on the girls for the future, the way that they're gonna look at you, but also on the men that are gonna prospect you in the future. Because you can just imagine that after 2 of these years of trauma, of this teacher constantly picking on all of my smallest mistakes. Like, just imagine this. Imagine that you just fart in public, and now it is literally the public news just because the teacher said so. Like, yeah, that's literally how it felt. Every single small mistake that I made was shouted in front of the entire class. So yeah, that led me to have a lot of mental breakdowns, and yeah, it was a really interesting time of my life, to say the least. And so, this is how the negative feedback loop began. I had this event at school where the teacher would shout at me, or any kind of teacher, not just this one, and that would lead me to chicken out. I didn't want to face my challenges, not because I was just a little kid, but because I was just a coward in the first place. I was too afraid to actually ask my teachers for any kind of guidance when it comes to any kind of theory or any kind of knowledge. You know, I was just too afraid to ask. Then that negative energy would be transferred to my house as well, because my my mom would find out about the bad grades that I was getting, and yeah, she would shout at me more, and that would let me, just the 8-year-old version of myself who barely understood female nature whatsoever, that would let him to run away into YouTube, into video games like Angry Birds, like Plants vs. Zombies, to watching Minecraft Let's Plays. You understand. I was hiding away from all of my problems, and I wasn't fixing them whatsoever. And so, of course, we all know what video games and social media does to our mental health, right? It makes us deplete of all of our potential. We put all of our time and effort into it, and of course, it keeps us mindless. And when you're sitting in class, for example, you cannot even fixate your attention on what you're doing because the class just feels so boring. And yet, you have all of these different memories that you've saved up from playing, for example, Plants vs. Zombies, and from that achievement that you finally got from unlocking a new area. You can just think about all of these different kinds of dopamine filled memories that you had from those video games, and suddenly you won't be bored anymore. But then, of course, this isn't the right way to live life, of course. And I realized it even at an early age, just like that. And it wasn't something conscious, like of course. Whenever I was thinking about video games, like Minecraft, all of those Minecraft Let's Plays that I was watching, Plants vs. Zombies, whenever I was thinking about those kinds of games, I was feeling happy. But subconsciously, I was suffering. Subconsciously, I wanted to break free, and I wanted to leave this old past behind myself. I wanted to grow stronger. I wanted to finally face all of my challenges, and I finally wanted to escape. And so I didn't realize this for years to come, and I was in this negative feedback loop forever. You got a bad experience at school, then you have a bad experience at home, then you transfer all of that negative energy into playing video games because that was the only place where I was appreciated. And then the cycle would continue because I would get bad grades from my shitty attention span because I just couldn't focus on the teacher themselves, on the teachers. I just was constantly focusing on video games. And yeah, subconsciously I realized this internal struggle of mine. And since I wasn't doing anything about it, my mental health suffered greatly. And negative thoughts like, you're useless, you're a stupid piece of shit, you will not achieve anything in your life. All of these negative thoughts were constantly banging my mind. They were trying to force me out. They were constantly haunting me. And then all it led to was strengthening that negative feedback loop for years and years and years. But then, in summer of 2023, I finally had enough, and I wanted to break free and finally do something with my life for once. For the last decade of my existence, I was just watching YouTube, binge watching it every single day since I was like 4 years old. I wanted to break free from video games like Minecraft. I no longer needed it from pleasure. I wanted pleasure from real life. I wanted to be appreciated. I wanted to achieve something. I wanted to mean something. I wanted to step out of my father's shadow. I wanted to be known as something. And so I started researching a lot of new topics. I started researching discipline, mindfulness, productivity, willpower, all of these different kinds of topics that would get me to become the best version of myself. And that's exactly what I would end up becoming. Now, of course, I'm not the perfect best version of myself, but I'm slowly but surely getting there. And it will still take me decades to truly achieve that status. But in the meantime, I must say that I am the happiest that I've ever been in my entire life. Ever since I started meditating every single day, my life has changed forever. And especially when I started to learn about male and female nature, oh boy, my mindfulness was applied 100 times. It was amplified to its fullest efficiency. And this one practice that I started doing that finally got me to achieve complete mindfulness whenever I need it was taking challenges every single day and disciplining myself to complete them on a day to day basis. Whether it is something like scripting a video or going on a run or just reading a book or being online in online communities, whether it is something as small as that, or if it is something big, like finally approaching that girl that you've been desiring to cold approach, or for example, finally grabbing your balls and going for the teacher that has been neglecting you for all of these years and seeing how it goes when you ask her for guidance. all of these small goals, all of these little challenges that you get to face on a day to day basis have fixed my mindfulness. Because the way that your mindlessness can kill you in the future is because just think about all of these different kinds of negative thoughts that you get on a day to day basis. All of these negative feedback loops that you get from being mindless and from thinking about all the different video game memories that you had, about all the different YouTube videos that you watched. How sad of an existence is that? Video games and social media will just distract you from becoming the best version of yourself and living the life that you actually desire. And yet you're here thinking to yourself, oh yeah, I'm just gonna play 1 hour of video games at the end of the day. Sure, that's fine in the beginning stages, but in the advanced stages, you need something that truly fulfills you in life. Something more important than video games. Uh, some kind of a colossal mission that you can complete for the future. That's what you need. Some kind of a colossal goal that you can dedicate each and every single day towards, so that one day you can look back and even think to yourself, bro, I haven't played a single hour of video game in the past month or so. I haven't watched a single YouTube video in the past 3 months. Wow, that's insane. And then you look at your current state and you look at all of the different beautiful achievements that you've achieved. That beautiful physique, that awesome attention span, like a lovely mind that constantly gives you positive feedback loops that keep you going, all of the positive thoughts. Then you also have some kind of an income. It doesn't have to be $10,000 per month, but it can be something like $5,000 per month, which is still pretty decent, of course. And of course, your situation when it comes to relationships, it can get better. And so, once you see all of these delayed gratifications that you get from finally becoming a man and standing up for yourself and owning your problems and charging head first towards the causes of the negative feedback loops and toppling them, finally for the first time in your entire life, that is what kills mindlessness and brings you mindfulness. Because, of course, you cannot stay mindless when you're arguing with someone, right? You cannot stay mindless the same way that you stay when you just sit down at your class desk and you just sit there all the day just thinking about all the different what ifs that could have happened in your life to get you out of this. Well, let me tell you, you can do that what if right now. You can take action today. And even by just, going to your teacher and finally asking her for guidance, that will just give you mindfulness in and of itself. So you have nothing to lose. Even if you do lose this first cold approach, you will win something. You'll finally know what not to do. There are millions of ways to get something wrong, but that one way to get it right. Now I'm not saying that you'll fail 1 million times, but you understand. You must let this motivate you into becoming completely mindful. Because let's be honest with ourselves. No one wants to live this miserable existence. No one wants to have their mind against themselves. No one wants to completely suffer and be a slave to their negative thoughts for the rest of their lives. And that's exactly what I fixed. Eventually, I've built up the courage to ask my female teachers for guidance. And right now, that average when it comes to my grades from exams have went from C to B, back to B to A. And finally, I barely get any C's on my exams whenever it comes to any kind of subject. So I can be deeply proud of myself because I challenge myself every single day. I do disciplined field tasks that propel me for the future because, oh boy, it just feels so nice whenever you complete a daily challenge like that. And they truly motivate you to keep going on your self evolution journey because a positive feedback loop is the best thing that you can get yourself into. It starts with some kind of a task that feels really hard in the beginning, but when you complete it and you feel the delayed gratification, you see the delayed result. Like, for example, you becoming more disciplined, you earning some kind of a money, you finally getting respect from the people around you, you will want to keep going for the rest of your life. And do you see the paradox? Negative feedback loops make you mindless, while positive feedback loops bring you mindfulness. That's very interesting, isn't it? So find something more important than the things, than the instant pleasures that bring you just mindlessness most of the time, and find something more important than them that brings you basically the suffering in the beginning, but at the delayed stages, they bring you delayed pleasure. Something more important than the instant pleasures is what I'm trying to say. Okay? If you want to join a community where we discuss our mental health and full of like minded men who share the same values as you, the same likes and dislikes, the same goals as you, who are becoming the best version of themselves every single day to surpass you in the race of men, but at the same time, they will be like your true, blood bonded brothers with whom you can talk about any kind of topic and any kind of awkward life story, and they will give you life advice on it like there is no tomorrow. Then you can join our Discord clan in the description. I know that if you're watching videos like these and willing to take action, that you have way more potential than you think you have. So please harness it and join us on the path towards greatness. I know that you'll find your place in there. But besides that, you can like the video, you can subscribe if you like, join the email list in the description, and get just a free ebook about mindfulness. Comment on which part of the video you liked the most and which part of the video you will implement in your daily life. Don't forget to join the clan, you're still invited, and become a part of the family. If you want to learn about healthy mindsets that will guarantee success in the long term and in the short term by mending your mental health and bringing you on the right path, no matter what, no matter the goal, no matter the life test, then I highly suggest that you should go check out Timeless Reader's Mindsets. It is truly something life changing, and you would be a fool to miss out, especially with the discount that is happening over there right now. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you